Morning.
All right, why don't we call the meeting to order at 10:01 and present Bill McGowan, Lisa McGonigal, Wayne Sawchuk, Rod Hoffman, Dan Coughlin. Guys, just as a point of, well, two things I wanted as point of order. I have a hard stop at 11:15. I've been Zooming since 6:30 this morning, so I have another one right after this. So, and I think I'd like to add one point for the record, and that is to acknowledge the retirement of John Beck, our member and friend, and wish him the best. And, you know, he served the board very well for many, many years, and I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Indeed.
Yep.
I agree, and I second it.
Okay. I think we're all in favor. As far as the next meeting, do we want to do something the 29th, or do we want to push it off until 21?
Push it off till 21 if you can.
Okay.
Okay. Unless,
I'll send out some dates later because I don't know what I'm doing then. Okay, as far as easement updates, I got a copy of the postcard that's going out, and that looks fine to me anyway. And I think the only thing we have to discuss is that the fee went up to what, $4,600, Lisa, something like that. Did I see?
Yes. That was on the regular certified mailing. And then the cost of the postcard is about $450.
So the total will be how much now, do you think? 5?
Yeah, a little over 5 maybe.
Okay.
That's if all 375 go out. I'm going to be scrubbing it again this week, scrubbing the list.
Okay.
And compare it with Dan's list for the private
Right.
easements.
Yep. All right, so I'll make a motion that we, spend a bit over $5,000 to be determined once we do another audit of the easement lots. So I'll make that motion that we approve that, and we tell the printer to get printing.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, as far as CJC update, I don't think there's really anything to update. Rod, have you heard any rumblings at all, or?
I have not.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing a ton of work. I don't know what they're doing, but they're going ahead. So we have Jeff Gregg from HSD with us, and wanted to, after our meeting last Tuesday, wanted to have him join us so that we could focus what he needs from us, and what kinds of things, as far as needs, in our own opinion, the town should be looking at, and do whatever he can do and to help him put his study together. So Jeff, you got the floor.
Thank you very much, Bill. So at the meeting that we had with a bunch of different stakeholders, we presented the outline of our task, which is basically to look at existing documents and help the town pull together a decision matrix or decision tree to look at all the different options that are surrounding your existing facilities, primarily your wastewater treatment plant and your current relationships with Hull, and any potential future relationship with Scituate with regards to wastewater, and then addressing sort of short-term, intermediate, or long-term needs that you see. So what I'm hoping to get out of the discussion today is, identification of priority areas, and then certainly any other issues or concerns that are is germane to the discussion. Bill, I don't know if is it worthwhile for me to, I was having some trouble connecting on my own network here, but to try to pull up the presentation or to
Yeah, whatever you think is
walk through I have a list that I started developing based on that. If you want, I could take a look at that and
Sure,
see if
yeah.
I can share that with the group.
That'd be fine.
Let's just see if I'm actually connected to our network now. The joys of working remotely.
Hmm.
So let me do. I will do is see if I can share my screen. And I apologize, I don't use Zoom as much. So let's see, share screen. Oh, it says host is disabled, participant screen sharing. So I don't know, is there someone that could give me permission to share, or?
Yeah, Lisa would have to do that.
Let's see. I might have to make you co-host to do that. Did that do anything?
Hold on. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, it's allowing me to do it. So can anyone see my screen?
You can see your screen, but nothing other than you. So here you
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Oh, there we
Just
go.
a little
Okay.
delay.
Yeah, no, I think I forgot to click the next button. So I'll start here. So these were some of the areas and topics that we discussed when we were sort of brainstorming. So CJC, which obviously you guys were just even talking about a few seconds ago, South Main Street, nitrogen effluent concentration changes potentially in your permit, the discussion around Beach and Doan Street, Route 3A businesses, satellite facilities, ocean outfalls. I mean, I know this is all stuff that the group has essentially heard, and because I'm basically just compiling other documents. Potential update facilities plan, 40B developments, sewer policy, INA, Situate Hull, and funding. So based on that, what I started to do, and this is probably going to be hard to read, so I apologize. I will try to zoom in.
Yeah,
Can people see this? Oh,
yes. Can you send this to Lisa, who can then forward it to everybody?
the presentation?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to send the spreadsheet yet because this is more just for discussion because I haven't even
All right.
vetted all this, and this is me just trying to compile things that we were discussing the other day. So this is still very draft, but what I was trying to do is look at all those various different criteria and then trying to index them based on is it a regional planning need? Is it a nutrient environmental? Is it a capacity issue? Does it affect your long-term capital planning? Is it a public concern request? Was it a priority area from the phase 1 report? Does it have a ratepayer impact? I mean, some of these have these, but I'm going for so what I was trying to do is then pick sort of 3 big issues and some of the resultants. So I'll just give you an example. This is kind of where I'm going. So if we pick something like, Cook Estates, because that was a big discussion at the meeting. It was a short-term, intermediate term, need. It was a public concern request. It's basically just deals with, it's a Cohasset issue. It's not necessarily, a regional development issue, and it definitely plays into capacity. So I'm starting to do this, and with this idea, I'd like to kind of go back to this general list, and not all of these things are fall into that first category, but are there other areas, or are there areas even on this list that are, first and foremost for the sewer commission? So I think some of this was really a discussion about, these various different, locations and areas that have come up in previous discussions, and where they fall on your radar, and other areas that might be on your radar that aren't on anybody else's radar. And I'm still going through reviewing the reports and looking at the recommendations from, say, the phase 1 report, and then some of the other documents, and going through your white paper. I guess I will throw it back to the committee in terms of how you'd like me to, if you want to go through and have a discussion on each one of these points, or how you want to do that.
Well, and would it make sense for us to, take these points and, between Wayne and I, prioritize them and say, this is what we think, 1, 2, 3, for ourselves?
Sure.
Okay. And one of the things that I think that I don't see here, but it's probably part of some of the topics here, like nitrogen requirements, satellite treatment in South Main Street, is sewering the Gulf River. Now, that would be part of Situate, certainly, but that's been something we've been talking about for, I don't know, maybe 3 years now or more.
And does that fall into the various different study areas, or is that something different than any of these areas, the 1A, 1B, 1C?
That falls within those study areas.
Okay.
Now, there is a certain urgency in some of what's going to happen in the relative near future, and obviously that's something like a decision on how the Chief Justice Cushing Plaza there is going to resolve what it is that they need, so that top item is something that there should be an answer from someone before your report is even finished that addresses that.
Yeah, good point.
And then what happened next was the Cook Estate, and that was something that happened a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. And the owners of that condominium complex and stuff, the residents there have up to 2 years to fix the problem. But today, they don't really know what the problem was that caused the breakout, that then, was it a failure of the soils behind a retaining wall? Was the fabric or something that was supposed to contain water to a certain level? Did that fail? So that's something that also should have some sort of an idea, before your report. And I'm saying your report's you can probably want to have something in January or something at some point, right? For your present to the selectmen and stuff. So some of these things should be further along, but there's nothing we can do, for instance, about 380, 390, and 400. We prepared a document for them to sign. We told them what it was going to cost to connect. We have the capacity to do it, but there's an issue that the person doesn't necessarily want to pay to have the connection put in, or he thinks the fee is too high. But
could you send me the document that outlines the relative cost for that
Lisa,
connection?
can you send that up?
Yeah, I mean, you could do the proposal. In other words, an application has not been presented to us for that situation. And if you want sewer, you've got to at least tell us what you want to do and pay what everybody else is paying.
Yep.
Now, things like Situate, part of our discussion with Situate was, can we work together to try to clean up the Gulf River? Now, our belief has always been, isn't it most important to have the least pollution in that you can have? And so for us to produce water that is cleaner than the water that it's being pumped into is sort of, it's like, why do you want us to make our water cleaner when you've got this filthy, dirty water coming here that is mixing with our clean water? And, what are we doing? But apparently the state may not have the ability to force us to clean up the dirty water, but they can force us and twist our arms and stuff to make the water that we're having here cleaner. There are issues with some of what people know. If I found out from our engineer that we can clean the water up to 1% nitrogen level, which we couldn't do, and the states found that out, they're going to say, well, that's what we want you to do, and maybe even more. And we're not sure that that's the way to negotiate with what it is that we have to do, because our water is still cleaner than what's going in there. So how clean do you want it to be? So that there are political implications in what, with how the plan goes. And I guess the other part of it is, someone criticized us saying we didn't have a 5-year plan, or we didn't have anything about what we're going to do in the future. And of course, that's not true. We know what we're going to do physically with our plant. We know what we changed the membranes. We know we're doing this. We know we're doing that, and we've allocated money for it. And we've done all that type of thing. We have not, because it is the town of Cohasset citizens that determine today where the sewer district is expanded, because right now it's sort of locked in where it is, that they have to go before town meeting to extend the sewer district. So that means that the town has to be comfortable with the whole plan of what is our plan in sewering the rest of the town, not sewer commission. The sewer commission really's job is to take care of the facilities that we operate, oversight the contractor that we have, and address the repairs and maintenance and I&I and things like that we work on, and certain sewer policy in terms of future connections. Future connections in our already sewered area are what we really work on. And I'm afraid that we haven't done a study ourselves, because no one's really, it doesn't appear that someone wanted one on sewering the whole town. Okay, how's that going to be for the balance of the town? Is that something that everybody in the town wants to have? And I would bet that wouldn't pass at town meeting. But is that something that someone wants to do? I think the state requirements, and I'd rather have someone like Dan Coughlin talk about what we've done in terms of different keeping up. He's the one that gave us an estimate of approximate amount to go down a little bit, a certain amount on the nitrates, to give us an idea of what we could do and couldn't do. That's important information, but not really like public information. It's
So where does the sewer commission stand in terms of, so you have a phase 1 report that was done with the 3 communities. And then following that, there was just, recommendations to move to the next phase and do a phase 2 report, taking it the next step. Is that part of what's, is there a desire on the sewer commission to do that, or is there more desire to stay with just trying to manage Cohasset's needs?
Have you had a chance to receive all of that correspondence that we worked on for the last couple of years with the joint towns?
Well, I have the report. So I've been reviewing the report,
Okay, so-
the phase one
so-
report that had the
so-
recommendations for those
Okay.
areas by each town.
Okay, so a part of that report, in the back, where it says Cohasset's contribution.
Yep.
Is where you will see that to do certain amount of work in that report is going to cost us in excess of $30 million.
Yep.
And a certain portion of that, about 1/3, is to go to Hull to fix their pipes to go to the plant. About 1/3 is for the pipe to go down 3A to serve Situate and the rest of Cohasset. And some other upgrades and stuff to do a certain number of things here.
Yep.
Someone at the last meeting said, what do you mean you have to pay Hull to in our new negotiations? They're going to ask us, in all likelihood, that we want you to, our buy-in to the plant, for you to put more flow from North Cohasset or any other else part of the town, is going to be to pay that $9 or $10 million that they want to upgrade it to be able to send flow to there. But that's not coming out as one of something that is likely to happen with the new contract that we either have to have or we have to not have, and spend money to sewer houses along that are sewered already. And I think you know a lot of this information, but our sewer on Hull Street goes to Hingham, which is in the middle of the road, and then flows down the street, and then it goes to Hull from Hingham's pump station. So we go from Cohasset to Hingham to Hull.
And
There's going to Hull. So in order for us to have that come to our own plant, we're going to have to run a new line down Hull Street and then connect it on at North Cohasset to our line coming back to our plant. And that's something that we're going to have to decide on, and it's going to be something that's going to cost us money if we can't negotiate a contract to take our existing flows to Hull. And so it is not even, and some people say, well, we don't want to pay the $15 when we only pay $10 in Cohasset. I'm saying, I'm not as worried about the $15 as I am how many millions of dollars you want in the new contract to take our flows for the next 15 years. And if it's going to cost $10 million to do it, I would rather come up with some solutions in Cohasset to treat that sewer ourselves or deal with another partner like Hull. Now, in the research that we did that Hull didn't do, that Hingham didn't do, was they didn't realize, or the majority of the people didn't realize, that there's a pipe that runs down the new railroad tracks from North Cohasset right to an area right next to the plant. And there's a pump station that has to be put in. But there's a dry pipe in there that it seems nobody knew about. I wanted to talk to Situate about, hey, this asset that a lot of people didn't know about, what can you use that for? And can that be part of our solution for working together to clean up the Gulf? And maybe we could do something in Situate to put a plant in and send effluent out to the ocean. And then we would send more flows there. It would still be a regional solution, but the amount that it's going to take to go into Hull is a key issue in this whole thing. Frankly, Hull does not want to talk to us yet. They want to wait till the last minute. And that can't happen because we can't make a decision. We have to make a decision that we're not going to go to Hull if we can't make a decision on what it's going to cost us to go there.
Yep.
So that is a key ingredient to this. Your whole study is what would it take us if we want to expand our existing plant? And I'm not sure that has been studied so that we could have more flows and some of those other issues. And I've got to be very, very careful because I can talk for an hour and then we won't have everything.
I mean, I understand completely. And that's, I mean, so, the goal of my task won't be to come up with whatever that number is. It's kind of to identify, if you go this way, then you got these things in front of you. If you look to go that way, you're going to have these other things in front of you to to get to that point so that someone can make a decision. You know, are we going it alone? Are we going with Hull and Situate? Are we going with just Situate? Are we doing, you know, whatever that is? And so that's what I'm starting to build from. So the reason I asked about the phase 2 report is I didn't know if there were any further after the phase 1 report was completed, which was fairly recent. Wasn't that 2019?
Yeah, I think
Was
so.
it 20? Was there any discussion of between the 3 towns of doing anything else, or is that report what basically got us to the point where we are now, where Cohasset, you know, is in need of making some of those decisions on where they want to go? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Well, we have always, I'm going to go back, Wayne, correct me, but I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago when we started talking to the sewer commission, the town of Hull. And it was mainly to, you know, what else can we do? Capacity. We had a bunch of different topics with them. And then it started to morph into, you know, what could we do with the Gulf River? And that's when Situate got in. And then there was this effort by the 3 towns to put money together to have Woodard and Curran put this comprehensive study together, you know, which is your phases and what have you. I think as Wayne said, satellite treatment facility or facilities, ocean outfall were basically a contingency if something with Hull did not happen. So we could then operate directly with Situate. The other piece in this that I've thought of, and some people who have been following this, some of the members of the public have been following it, would be the level of disruption that occurs to Cohasset to basically put a good sized pipe from Situate front down Border Street, Margin Street, Jerusalem Road, Atlantic Ave, however they do it. You know, that's going to make creating another Cunningham Bridge look like nothing because of the disruption there'll be to the town. And I think we have to take that into account when we're making these kinds of decisions. You know, if we can do this with the least amount of impact to everybody, that's a good thing in my mind. The other piece of this, we asked in the white paper for the town manager to re-engage with both Hull and Situate, and you know, right, wrong, or indifferent. The answer we got back, well, let's do this study first. Let's figure out what our priorities are. Have the select board agree to them or prioritize them on behalf of what the town's best interests are, and then make that connection. So to Wayne's point about we have to start talking to these guys, you know, sooner than later, and just a piece of just general information, dependent upon the people that you talk to further outside of the sewer department, you will get comments that we've been dragging our feet and not doing anything and creating the delays for whatever reasons. Nothing could be further from the truth. We have told members of the select board who have asked us that our primary responsibility, and in fact, almost sole responsibility, is to take care of the ratepayers of this town, period. Second is we had to replace unexpectedly our entire membrane train over the winter, very unexpectedly, and then deal with everything that we had to deal with COVID. So, you know, COVID is going to become the new dog ate my homework thing, but that's the reality of it. And those kinds of things, I think you should, you know, you don't have to comment one way or another, and I don't expect you to. It's just FYI.
No, and I appreciate that, and I understand, you know, just in trying to, you know, go through the process of starting to, you know, boil down paths. It's, you know, it's a very complex issue that, you know, I know even when we were, you know, working with you before, we were aware of. I think the Situate situation is certainly an interesting one, and what because I work on the Cape a lot. We see this issue that you're dealing with in the Gulf is what every Cape community is dealing with, and they have to share with their other communities because they have a shared watershed, they have a nitrogen impact, but they have a TMDL, so they have a goal that has been set for them. And I'm surprised, based on when I was reading through that, EPA and DEP were sort of partners in that the bigger study. They've alluded to these things, but I don't know. Have there been any discussions of the Estuaries project studying the Gulf and actually developing a TMDL for that area that would then at least answer that question?
I have felt that that is not something that they care about because it's not in their jurisdiction, in my opinion. Now, maybe Dan can put more light into it in terms of he's gone to the meetings and stuff too. But
not in whose jurisdiction?
In the folks that are working on this, on the designated people that were working on this plan to really, what the state is really looking to do is to have us have a regional plan and work as a group, and rather than having every town having its own thing. That's why we got the funding for it, was that it would be a town that it would include Hingham, Hull, Cohasset, and Scituate as the 4 towns. And we got grant money. The first 200,000 or so came right in, and then we got some more money, and it was all about regionalization, okay, and not about the individual players. And it was and they were saying, look at what we've got. We've got a plant that could do up to 6 million gallons a day that was built. Now, unfortunately, through negligence, the plant failed, and it cost the thing $15 or so million to fix it, which is the money that they're trying to recover from other people. And so they said, let's look at this component. Oh, it has an ocean outfall, so that's a good component. Well, now we can get rid of, take all these other people and put them all into one. And they didn't address the real cost of doing that by coming up with what might be $80 million or something like that. We're a little town, and we have a little treatment plant. And if it wasn't for the government, the state, from forcing us to hook up the 425 people around Little Harbor, the Little Harbor district, those people wouldn't have sewer today. It would have been too costly for us to do it to do it on our own, because it was all ledge and all the work that happened. But those people, the 425 people, had to pay the whole cost of it. So any new work's going to happen, they're going to expect that only the people tying in are going to pay the cost for that. And that's going to reduce the fact that how can we do a rural area and put sewer in it without, it would cost us too much, and who's going to pay for it? So that money issue is a key ingredient. Now, urgency on 3A was that if I as a commissioner found out that they're taking from Beechwood Street to North Cohasset, they're going to completely upgrade that section of highway with sidewalks and street lights and the whole ball of wax. And that is in progress right now for the study of putting the plans together. And I said, well, if someone's going to do that, they're never going to let us put a sewer pipe down that brand new road for how many years? And it would make sense to sewer that area because they're right on the brook that's going into the harbor, and that would be really important to have a collection system there between there and North Scituate. And it would be a lot less expensive if they put the pipe in themselves as one of the criteria for doing the job. And that was in my mind. And so that's why that one area of 3A, it happened to be a business district, came about. Now, without doing anything, that's not going to happen. And things don't happen that should happen 30 years ago, we wanted to run a sewer pipe down our land that happened to be the railroad right of way and run a sewer down and go up Forest Avenue. But the people in town got really upset that we were expanding sewer and we were going to put in more houses up Forest Avenue, which ultimately happened without sewer. But now, the way to take sewer from Hull, if we were to take it, is really almost on a pipe going down 3A rather than right on going down the railroad bed, rather than necessarily 3A. But I don't know if we could do that today because the MBTA would probably say no, now that they own sewer right away, that the railroad right away that we sold them for very little money. And people weren't smart enough to keep the rights in the right of way before we sold it.
Yeah, Wayne, given their ridership, maybe they want to sell it back to us.
Maybe they'll, yeah. Well, and anyway, Situate was smart enough to say, hey, put the sewer pipe in. We want to have sewer in North Situate. But then no one knew that they did it 14 years ago. So I did go down and find a manhole down there that says sewer on it, right in the middle of the road down there. So they do, it is there. I'm getting off the subject, so.
Yeah, I was just gonna see if we can see if Jeff has anything else, any other points you need to get to.
No,
we-
I think, go ahead.
Do we just want to ask Dan, there's a few things on here like 3A or Beechwood Street or Doane Street or satellite treatment facilities and things that if there's any, to sort of find out whether we have information that could answer some of those issues or to give you a little bit more that it has been studied, this is available or Beechwood Street and stuff has been thought of, but not thought of, or whatever.
What I was going to do, not to step on Dan, I was going to see, Jeff, if you and Dan could get together separately.
Okay.
We've got a lot of stuff left on the agenda and I got 35 minutes. So
Yep.
Is that all right, Dan? You cool with that?
Yeah, it's a much longer talk.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing, Nick.
Okay.
And do you have Dan's contact info?
I think so, but it's always good to just have it just in case. So I
Yeah,
don't know if you
Lisa
just
can-
give me your email, that'd be the easiest, and then I can just go from there.
Sure. D. Coughlin at CES, Charles Edward Sam -MA, MichaelAnthony.com.
What were the initials again? At
CES -MA.
-ma.com. Okay. I will, I'll send you over an email and we can set up some times that work for you and we'll just talk through a bunch of this stuff. I know that, I appreciate all your time today.
Okay, good.
And we appreciate even doing the report because it's going to allow people to realize that certain things have been studied and certain things are in place and that we don't.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
You'll have to
it's-
go over to do certain things.
it's going to be complicated in the sense that there's a lot of decisions, but I'm going to try to work my way down. One last thing I wanted to ask is, so from the big picture perspective of the starting of the decision is I'm basically starting the decision tree looking at regional versus Cohasset only. And then obviously there's branches off of regional with whether it's 3 communities, 2 communities, the like, and Cohasset only being basically dealing with your own issues, trying to do everything internally. But that's kind of the top of the tree in terms of, for me, the first big decision that the town is going to make is which way they're going to go. And I'm not saying the decision tree isn't intended for me to tell you what the answer is. It's for the groups to be looking at it and seeing if they go down various different paths, where it leads for your issues. So.
And I hope the public has a chance to comment on it at one of your sessions and stuff, because I think you're going to find that a lot of people would like to keep Cohasset exactly the way it is today and not have hundreds of thousands of this or that, whatever, a 3A that you can't even get out to go down the street because it's so crowded and different things like that. So we want to keep that in mind too, is the people of Cohasset want to have for Cohasset. Not
Excellent.
just a couple of people.
Well, I really appreciate all your time,
Great.
and I'll send
All right.
an email
No,
over to
thank you.
Dan, and we'll
Yeah.
go from there. You guys
Thank
have
you,
a
Greg.
great one, and if I don't talk to you, have a happy holidays.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks very much.
Thank you, you
Stay
too.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so our next thing is the budget. And to be quite honest, I haven't had a chance to read any of the stuff that you sent, Lisa. I don't know about if you have, Wayne.
No,
Okay, and due to that, I wonder if we can just put that off to the next session.
Yeah,
But
maybe we could have the meeting at the end of December, so that we can get something like that finished.
okay, well, why don't we, then that would be the 29th.
Yeah.
So why don't we have a meeting on the 29th?
Yeah, and then we'll put that as a key, have that solved.
And then have Don join us, Lisa, or ask him to?
Okay, yeah, he was on today's call.
Yeah, we just have a ton of stuff here today, so just a busy day. So if we can do that, and maybe, if anything falls off of this, if we don't complete everything, or there's stuff left over, and we can put it on that, and then we just do those two things on the 29th.
Yep.
All right,
Yes, thank you.
I just want to let you know, I will not be available to discuss on the 29th, so that you guys will be on your own if that's the case.
oh, good.
Um,
We'll be ready for you.
Well, if we have any
So-
questions before then, maybe we can just give you a buzz, that's all.
Yeah, do that, because, we really want to try to get a completed budget from you guys by the 22nd of January. That gives us time to digest it, get ready to present to the Board of Selectmen.
Perfect.
So
I think
yeah,
we could-
please,
yeah.
if you can, over the next few weeks, take a look. Any questions? I've already filled out some predetermined amounts in there. And then we can kind of go from there.
Great.
And then we can reach you by email if we have certain questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Don.
Bye.
Okay, so I guess we now have the Diab Lane lots, Matt Shannon. And I know there's been a bunch of correspondence that we've received from, let's see, who do we get it from? From the planning board, I believe.
No, from Attorney Ryder.
Yeah, the planning board was for 602 Jerusalem Lane,
Okay, because I have it.
Jerusalem Road.
All right, okay, all right.
And Matt are both on this call?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Now, what do you need to do, Steve, before the end of December? Meaning, is the permit void after December 31st? If you don't perform some action?
Well, what the history that I put together here suggests, and again, I kind of want to emphasize that this is the best I could pull together from the records we have. If the commission or the members have other records or memories that would supplement this, that might make the story more complete. But as I pulled together, I think we need to get an application in, and which we're planning on doing. I guess mindful of Mr. McGowan's statement that COVID becomes the dog that ate my homework. There has been obviously some problems this year. I think Mr. Shannon's plan was to have moved this forward this year and maybe even have started the building of the houses, and it's been delayed a bit. But to get the application in, we got to get the engineers to put together what they need for the application, and then we would get it in. I guess I would ask if the commission is persuaded by the arguments that we made, if we might be able to get a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of extra time to finish that process and get the
Can you
documents filed.
can you define what a little bit of time is? Because we've, you know that we have extended this several times already. So can you give us an idea when that, or like put a stake in the ground as to when you're going to have this done by, I guess?
Well, I think, and Matt, Mr. Shannon's on the line too. And maybe if we could I think he's muted, but I think, we're looking about getting the engineering going. So, January or February, we should be able to get the application in and get moving. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether frozen ground, once we get the application in, whether the winter weather impedes your moving forward with that or not after the application's in. I just don't know the technical aspects of it, but I think we could get the application prepared, the engineering done for it, and get it in by January, February, and then, move along at that pace.
Yeah, does Mr. Shannon have title to the 3 lots today?
Yes,
He
yes,
does.
he does.
Okay.
I'd be happy to, if you want me to confirm that, but yes, he
Yeah.
does.
And it has been more than 6 or so years total. And why isn't it engineered today? I mean, what is, tell me what the tie-up was.
Well, there were, I think, quite frankly, I think Mr. Shannon got into this with maybe a bigger appetite than he had to do real estate development back when he started this in 2011. He bought the Templar houses, in 2011, and things have been moving along. Going backward in time, I think the principal reason that nothing got moving on these 3 lots in the last year has largely been COVID and what's been distracting the professionals and other people who have to pay attention to this. He was also before that thinking about selling the lots and letting somebody else develop them. And that's why he solicited and got that letter from May of 2019 confirming that these were still, I think I attached as Exhibit E, that these were still lots that were essentially the sewer privileges had been paid for. And he was going to use that as part of a process of trying to sell the lots to some third party. That did not pan out. And, that's why.
So he is seriously contemplating building the houses himself?
Yes, at the moment.
At the moment.
He that's the determination he's made. He's sold off some of the other properties he had on Windy Hill Road. He has completed and sold the development, finally completed and sold the development at 589 where the Templar, Jerusalem Road, where the Templar house was. And it's really time to turn his attention to these 3 lots.
Now, how many, you mentioned that there are 4 units at the Templar house. How many units are there? Are there 4?
Well, there were 7 at Templar. And
No. I'm asking how many units did Matt make in the condominium development that exists today? How many units are there?
3. He was originally, when he was here in 2013, thinking that he might have 4, but in the final construction, they constructed 3. And then there was so that there was one extra, and they came back to the board and allowed that to be transferred to the Windy Hill lot.
Well, I think we should, when your opinion, obviously, but I think we should put a date down and not just keep it open-ended. Because we'll be back talking about this again.
What is required by us is something that has nothing to do with frost or anything like that. It would be the design, the location and design of the existing main and the approximate locations of each of the houses that he's going to build, and a engineer's stamp drawing that shows how the sewer is getting from our sewer main with the proper sizes to each of those 3 houses. And there'll have to be some sort of ownership determination so that he's not, he's either putting it in an already approved road that hasn't been built, and therefore that has to be shown. And in fact, that has to be where the road is going to go in order for the whole thing to work out in the future. And he has to understand that he's paying the amount to go from the house to the street sewer that exists today. And that the sewer department has no obligation to extend that up any paper street or any paved street or anything like that. This is what he's going to need for a building permit anyway, but it's all we want is the outcome of the sewer. It has to show the 10-foot water separation. So if he has to put in a fire hydrant or something, or extend a water connection for the 3 houses, then he has to show that on our plan to prove that he's not going to be within 10 feet of the sewer line and not intersect with it. So basically that's what he has to do. And if someone was available, they could probably do it in a couple of days, but if someone isn't available, then it's going to take a couple of weeks or months. But we don't want to, we just can't have this keep going, dragging. And I have heard rumors that the 3 lots were going to be sold to a particular company. So you may have made that decision not to do it right now or not.
To your point, yeah, Wayne, I agree with you. I was going to ask if we're just doing drawings, what does excavation of the property have to do with anything? But you did it better than I. What if we say the 1st of February?
I mean, obviously that's your judgment. I'm always, particularly in these times, I'm always looking for a little more cushion.
Well, I could have said the 15th of January, but I don't want to be a hard ass. I really don't. But it's like,
But you cannot, I cannot imagine that something hasn't been done before now. Years and years and years. He has to have thought about what he's going to put on the property, what he wants to put on the property, where the property is. Is the property even surveyed today? It may not be.
Yes, no.
It's not our fault.
Yeah, no. The property's been surveyed. There have been drawings made of foundations and things like that. I mean, there may be some adjustments and changes to that, but he has a very good idea of what he wants to put there and the size and that kind of thing. So yes, I think
that only requires a square. I mean, if he thinks it's a 24 by 36 small house, then that should be on the plan. It's
right.
Getting from the street to the house and having the separation between the other utilities, and show what you're going to put in, and then it has to have the right size pipes in order to have. You got 3 houses, you're probably going to go on a 2-inch line going out to the street. If the line at the street is an inch and a quarter, then that's gonna be a problem. And that type of information should be found out right now. You know, and it's gonna be done.
Oh, I got it. Then I mean, it sounds doable by February 1. If there
But you.
something extraordinary that happens, we'll deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, not to belabor this, but I think we've been very patient and,
I agree.
and again, we've been spending a lot of time on this. So I think we just have to get it done.
I agree.
And he knows the value of it. He has a lot to lose. He has to invest a couple of $1,000s and get it done.
Then we'll go ahead and get it done.
Okay.
All right, make a
All
motion.
right. I appreciate your time and your attention to this.
You want to make a motion on that, by the way?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we give Matt Shannon, the applicant, till February the 1st of 2021 to get the relevant documents to us for review.
Thank you. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah,
Can I
Dan?
ask one thing? 630 Jerusalem Road was going to be a developed lot. I think it was off of Windy Hill, lot 49. Was that something that was developed by Matt?
Not yet. I don't think. I think it's a separate lot that it'll be, I think, next year.
Okay, there's no fees been paid on that one. Correct? Does Matt still own that lot? Or is that one of the ones we got rid of?
I don't have the Windy Hill stuff in front of me. I think,
Is that one of your attachments?
It is. It's on the notes, I have notes on the letter.
yeah, I thought, but I'll confirm this. I thought he had sold that. And that you had, and maybe you,
Because to my knowledge, that one did not receive an EDU and that one still didn't pay a fee.
and that's lot 42,
And that was 49.
49,
They call it lot 32.
lot 32. Okay.
But the ID is basically B109049. And it was supposed to have an address of 630 Jerusalem Road.
Okay, let me check into that and I'll shoot you a letter. I don't
That's
have
fine.
that at the tip of my tongue.
Yep.
Thank you, Dan.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, is that connected now, Dan, or no?
I don't believe so, but I haven't been really tracking the permit issuance out there. So Lisa believes it hasn't been connected yet. I just want to make sure that somewhere along the line, someone's paying the fee, because that would have been a new fee.
Okay. There was the situation near 14 Windy Hill there, and there's like 14 and 10 and a couple of things like that.
Right.
I believe is that his EDU went to the lot that was the house number 14 that had the recent connection to it. But there was another house that was there, I think that's going to be torn down or remodeled, that had an EDU. But
Right.
there was a lady or something up the street that had an extra EDU that she was moving. Lisa, do you remember what that is?
Yes, if you refer to the email I sent you yesterday, Wayne, yesterday morning, it's Diab Lane lots. The attachment, one of the attachments was the Windy Hill Lane, or Windy Hill Road lots with notes. And so Windy Hill, lot number 33, was the location of an existing home. It's currently connected to sewer. Lot 31, and let's see, lot 33 was 10 Windy Hill. Then I have lot 31 has a sewer connection privileges for one EDU that was paid in full by the previous owners. And so lot 31 was for Windy Hill. Lot 34 had sewer privilege connection that were transferred from 589 Jerusalem Road, and that was number 14 Windy Hill. And then lot 32 is it'll be 630 Jerusalem Road. It does not have sewer connection yet. The fee has not been paid. The lot has not been created yet. According to the assessor's office, I think it'll be next year. Next year, I think in 2021.
So who owns that? Does Matt own that too?
Pardon me?
Who owns the property?
I think Matt does. And it looks like it's going to be split to 2 lots. 630 Jerusalem Road will be split to 2 more lots, 32 and 33. This is all according to the assessor's office.
And this is the, so this is the existing house at Windy Hill, and it's going to be split into 2 lots?
I don't think it's existing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's on a corner.
Yeah, I'm only vaguely familiar at this point with the Windy Hill stuff. I'd be happy to figure that all out and send you a letter.
Okay, I think we would just want you to know that we wouldn't represent that they have sewer from Matt for those lots.
I get it.
If
Yeah,
he's-
no, I
if
get
he's
it.
using them for the Diab Lane stuff.
Right.
All right,
All right, should we go on to Country Condominium Trust?
yes.
And I think that this is just a letter that came to us. They're asking to be sewered at some point in time. And again, what you said to Jeff, Wayne, we've got to go before town meeting to increase that area. I mean, I understand why they want it, but it's really not in our purview to grant it. We have to go before town meeting.
There may be some issues there too, because we would have to cross the railroad tracks to get to that area. And I know that there was supposed to be a sewer sleeve.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. I thought there
road,
was
but
one.
They ended up using the sewer sleeve for the water main. And so now that we'd have to have use the water main sleeve to put the sewer pipe in. And that may make things a little more difficult
Yeah.
if we were to do it.
Okey doke. So 602 Jerusalem.
So there's a couple of people on the line. We have Dave Dugan, he's a neighbor, and David Lucia, 93 Black Rock Road is in a butter for 602 Jerusalem property.
All right, what is happening with that?
So it came on our agenda because I received a phone call from Shepherd Construction and asked if that 602 Jerusalem Road subdivision was going to be able to connect to sewer. So that's why I put it on our agenda. And then some other emails came through from the planning board and Katie Dugan saying that it's been in the at the planning board meetings. And so I had sent, actually Katie sent you guys yesterday the meeting minutes regarding the planning board and 602 Jerusalem Road.
Is this all the old Curtis estate? What property is this that has the 23 lot subdivision?
Oh, that's what's his name? Greco or
No,
you're talking the one that came before us about 4 years ago? The
Right.
gentleman from Hull, and he
but
wants to put 21 lots up there?
yeah, but it's the Curtis estate, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
And so what is, when it says 602 Jerusalem Road 23 lot approved subdivision discussion, that's what we're talking about now, right?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Okay. And the fellow Shepherd Construction is interested to know if the sewer there now.
No.
If it's able to connect to sewer, because I think he is considering purchasing the property from what I understood from my conversation with him, but that's
So
my knowledge goes.
I think the best thing would be have him come before us and talk. The original applicant, I believe his name was Greco from Hull. He bought it, and I think this has been going on for probably, I don't know,
20 years.
Wayne or Dan probably know better than I, but it had to be going on for 10 or 12 years now. That this-
Closer to 20, actually. I think.
20?
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, it used to be Jerusalem Road Estates.
Yeah. Okay. So,
It was a 50 lot subdivision at one point, and then they redid it.
right. And at the time we had, I remember getting some, some angry mails and what have you from folks on Black Rock. So, I mean, this has a bunch of implications if this thing goes through.
Well, we do not have an application pending for that.
No, we
So-
never got one. And I
Yeah.
don't think he even went before I don't think he went before building or anyone. He did to get any kind of permits. I don't believe. He just wanted to know if we'd sue him.
Right.
My recollection.
Well, we looked at a couple of different designs and stuff, but so anyway, so what is the question now? So
So-
Shepherd Construction is,
So we're not even sure if it's an approved subdivision because Katie was pointing out that at one of the meetings, planning board meetings in February of 2020, that there was a passage of over 20 years since the approval went through. And so town zoning and conservation commission bylaws have changed. And she also pointed out that a smaller 2006 subdivision for the same site was denied by the planning board in 2006. So she wanted the planning board to weigh in if the subdivision plan should be listed as approved when discussed at the sewer commission meeting. So I'm not even sure if it's approved or not, but I did send those to you guys yesterday.
I should mention too, this, this was looked at years ago, but one thing that's kind of changed a little is the potential for the expansion of the sewer up Hull Street to pick up the Cohasset properties, if that's ever done. That will bring more flow into the system. And it just needs to be examined what the impacts of 23 lots in this area will do to the pressures on Hull Street if that other alternative is ever pursued. So there is a little bit more to it now than it was originally when it was first put together.
right,
But
and
it appears to me this doesn't really, I mean, it does have something to do with this certainly, but because the contractor called us, but I mean, if it hasn't been approved as a subdivision, it's out of our hands.
I think, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's probably included in the sewer overlay district, meaning did we include that property or not include it?
Quick look. I think it might have been.
I thought it might have been too, because it goes all up, all into the Black Rock roads there and stuff, and all the paper streets that are in there.
I mean, just reading this, looks like a letter done by Lauren Lind. It just appears that it's a, planning board, issue.
Right.
It is within the district.
Oh, it is, okay. So, and it wasn't, they didn't proceed because we had a moratorium on any new connections for years.
Right, then I think there was a kind of a preliminary proposal where it only involved a smaller number of lots. I think it was like 6 or 7, I think, for a period of time. And that was looking to be more feasible. Now this is reverting back to, I think, close to the original proposal.
I thought he came in and was going to use some frontage and just Form A a couple of to create some lots just by Form A-ing on the existing driveways that we call streets up in that area.
Right, he had some stuff up in the back area, if I remember it. I mean, with this frontage that he had on Jerusalem Road, I think he could only do like a max of 10 or something. Does that sound right? And then he was going to go over to, go off of Forest and Black Rock, where he had a couple of other lots and access sewer from there.
But
I mean, that's a while ago that I remember that one.
now, any of the people that are watching, Dave, do you have any specific questions? Dave Dugan?
No, we're just observing to gain knowledge.
Okay. So we're in a position where we really, it's in front of us, but it's not something that we have done anything about or that we're planning on doing. And it just, every few years it comes to the surface.
Okay.
So I would refer Shepherd Construction to the planning board as to, what are they looking for?
Okay, will do.
I mean, I don't see what else.
I don't see what else either.
By the way, Paul Grata is one of the people that
That's the guy. Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been
yeah.
thinking about.
Yep, that's the guy.
He is a Cohasset resident. Has business in Hollow.
Doesn't he have a construction company or something?
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. Yeah. You're getting close to your 11:50.
Yeah, no, I've just told the guys that I'm going to go to 11:30. So, but that I have to get off.
So sewer abatements.
Yep. So Spindrift.
So we talked about this last time. Unfortunately, actually, I think I might be.
He in fact does have a
Are you on the
meter
line? Yeah, John's on the line.
Okay.
Um,
He had. the
Yeah, I'm
meter-
on.
Right. Okay, good.
Good morning.
Hi.
I'm on a work call with my UK firm right now at the same time on another Zoom, so trying to walk and chew gum.
Now you had the meter pit at the street, at the edge of the road. You sent us the photographs.
Yep, and it's been yep. So
So I'm happy with that.
we were getting billed twice for sure. It's in the meter before it leaked.
Okay, so. Lisa, are we waiting for you?
oh no, so basically he was coming back for an abatement.
Right.
Which was calculated at $665.70.
Yeah.
For the sewer abatement. We wanted to revisit because we wanted to confirm that he had a meter pit.
Right.
Right. What? So the thing I'm looking at right now says $285.30. The original charge was $851.35, and the
That was-
abated charge is $285.30.
That's one Spindrift.
Oh,
so
we're
we're-
looking at 15 Spindrift. 15 it was a revisit. I probably didn't reset.
Oh, it's not in here. Okay, you're right.
It was from last time.
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, if the pictures, the picture shows 1,000 words or anything.
$600, six.
Yeah, I think the question was there a meter pit and it was leaking after the meter pit? Or where is the meter for the house?
It was 100% going through the meter pit and then before it leaked. So the meter's not in our house. The leak was closer to our house from where the meter pit is on our property.
Okay, so it went through the meter pit first and then you had
It
the
did.
leak and then you have your house.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's legit.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Do we have to make a motion? I'll make a motion that we approve that abatement for 15 Spindrift Lane. Wayne?
Yes, second.
Okay, all in favor, Ryan?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you, John.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas all.
okay, same to you.
You too.
Thanks.
The next one was another revisit 419 Jerusalem Road, but he was going to be present, planned on it. He had an emergency dental appointment, so if we could postpone that until next time.
So moved.
So Lisa, is he going to resubmit the actual abatement so we can read it? This is the one that was done sort of in hieroglyphics.
Oh, right. I'll ask him to.
Yeah. And again, typing it would be much, if we could get an electron, did you find anybody who can do the electronic one?
Honestly, I have not checked yet.
Okay,
I'm sure I can do it.
all right.
The next one is a new abatement, 241 Jerusalem Road. That would be one of the ones that I sent as an attachment. This one, they're asking for $475.50. It looks like there was a continual run of water on the meter. They have a new irrigation system was shut off and run of water stopped. The irrigation company inspected the system and found a leak in the system, which caused significant use of water during the last billing period.
So this doesn't look like it has an irrigation meter though, correct?
No, I don't think they do. Doesn't look like it.
No,
So what do you usually do, a one and done for the irrigation system?
Well, he wants what? Jesus, boy, that's a lot of stuff here. He had a 3,700 gallon leak. A 6,700 gallon leak. Holy shit.
No
Yeah, if you
other
go-
minor abatements on this, right?
Yeah, look at the notes back on,
Yeah.
on the August the 4th. Does not want to pay bill. Seems like there's a bunch of repairs here. I mean, if you go back to 07, got a repair there, repair remote, repair meter.
there's more on the second page too.
Has this property received an abatement prior to this?
It looks like a request for an abatement of 400 cubic feet was done in August of this year. But I'll check with Brenda to see if that, if.
I sort of remember this because
we got them.
that there was also a comment that was done that he filled a swimming pool. I remember this guy, and I don't think we agreed to it.
Oh, this is the first time this one came through, unless it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was another one. I really do.
241 Jerusalem. Okay, I'm gonna check my records.
Yeah, why don't you check and then we can revisit this one. I mean, this is a hell of a leak.
So it appears to be on the irrigation system though. I mean,
Yeah.
in the past, but sometimes you also put as part of the abatement is they're required to install an irrigation meter.
So 475. So it looks like he's taken sort of an average from the sewer bill off of this 965. Yeah, I think for brevity's sake, I would approve 475.50 as an abatement with the requirement that he installs a second meter for his irrigation.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to the next one.
This is the one spindle. Oh, no.
One Spindrift.
Yes. So there was a note from Brenda regarding the owners have been there since October 2018. She had been sending them a letter requesting the reading for the second meter, but have never received a response until now. When they purchased the home, they went and got the reading off the second meter so that they could be credited properly. Until now, they didn't realize how important it was to get the reading back to her. And so she attached a calculation crediting 3,000 cubic feet. But she said in reality, they overpaid 14,400 cubic feet.
I make a motion to approve the $285.30.
I'll second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okey dokey.
Next.
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Anything else we need to talk about quickly?
So earlier on, I had Brenda Douglas on the line, only because, I'm sorry, we kind of blew by easements and I didn't even think of bringing her in. Regarding the when, and I think Bill, you and I had this discussion about that quickly, meaning that when the grinder pump fee is taken off, because there's that 60 or more on the private ways, that we'll keep on with the grinder pump fee. She has to do everything manually. And we just wanted to confirm that that's the way we're going.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the only way she does it, I guess, yeah.
Well, if everybody's grinder pump fee is going to be stopped at once,
Mhm.
then it can be a programming correction.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Based
Okay.
upon the way Rod has set this up, we have to get the signed easement forms back.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be on a monthly basis. You send her a list of people who have signed the forms and they can be deducted from the
Yeah.
list. and pay that fee.
Dan, I'm going to blame you. You're the bearer of bad news. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
I mean, it's just, you're going to have quarterly adjustments probably for the next year.
Yeah. Okay. That's all
All
I
right. Very good. I'm going to jump off. So we'll discuss our next stuff on the 29th. And so I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, well, Merry Christmas and happy everything, guys.
Everybody have a good Christmas.
All right, take care, everybody.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Happy
Bye-bye.
New Year.
Same, bye.